All right. Well, Dad, we got ourselves moved from Savannah to Kansas, or to Wichita, then Wichita to Kansas City. Talked a little bit about your TWA work, Prairie Village, and all that. So at some point, you've got a growing family. You've got me. We talked about my sisters and Shelly and all that. Now all of a sudden, you decide you want to take us fishing. We're going to do a family expedition. And I still have memories. I can't remember how old I was, but I have memories of us driving up to Minnesota. I'm thinking it was all of us together, like in a, can't remember what kind of car it was. But
well, we took 2 cars up there on that one.
Okay, up to Minnesota.
And, right, and that was we went up to a camp that F.A. and Anna Jo had been to before, and these people were Christian people that owned that camp that was up in Bethel, Minnesota. And we went up there and got a cabin up there. We were all in the same cabin.
And I think me and all 3 of my sisters were there, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was remembering.
And John and
then your friend that you met,
yes,
you met F.A. through
church.
Okay.
At the Leawood Baptist Church. We met F.A. and Anna Jo, and then became good friends with them. And then he's the one that got me started fishing, because I had never been fisherman very much or anything like that. And he taught me just about everything I know about fishing.
There you go. Well, he's a good one to teach. So what are your memories of that trip to Minnesota as it relates to fishing? Because we're gonna start a whole series of fishing stories here.
Well, I can remember that we had, first of all, we had to get poles and everything for all the kids, and that was F.A.'s kids, and our kid, Marianne and Mom and you and the 3 girls were all with us.
Yeah.
And F.A. had, the first place we went was, we went to a farm that F.A. and Anna Jo had been to before, and they had a big pond out in their, a farmer did, out in his field, and he let people fish on that, and it was had a great lot of crappie in it. And so what we did end up doing was, he had built a big kind of a raft like thing that had even had where you had kind of a gate, a wooden thing all the way around it, so you couldn't fall in, to keep you from falling in and stuff like that. But you had to push it out there and row it out there yourself. And then we went out there that day, and that I didn't fish for the first probably 3/4 of the trip, because all I do is put bait on the hooks for all 3 of you kids, or 4 of you kids. And it got so bad that I wasn't even fishing at all. And you guys were bringing in crappie like mad, and I just finally said, you guys got to learn to put your own bait on, and I'm going to start fishing. And so I threw my line out, and didn't catch anything at all, hardly at all, that thing. And I was using a lure, and then I threw that thing out, and then I got my first big fish out there, and they had a set of teeth in them, like they were.
Did you catch a walleye or a pike or something?
It was a pike, and it was a smaller pike. But they're big. But I got one, a really nice size one, and everything else. But I got it in, and that was the only fish I caught that day. When the rest thing I was doing was just taking the crappie off the thing. But we caught a lot of crappie and everything else, and then we went back to the cabin with F.A. and Anna Jo, and they caught their kid, caught. And
so I remember being fishing off a dock.
Well,
and I think this was in Minnesota. And the thing I remember, like, it's the best way to hook a kid on fishing, right?
That's
is
right.
take them and catch a bunch of fish, because then they're hooked the rest of their life, and then they want to catch more fish.
And they all,
But
we
I
fished with them all.
I remember like every cast we were catching. I think you or FA called them bullheads.
They were
Little-
bull,
I mean, they were just
little catfish,
Catfish
and they
about
called
this
them
big,
bullheads.
bullheads. And I remember they had the spikes on the side, so when we, I had to grab them just
That's
right.
part of the
pull
fin,
the hook out
and
of
they
it.
got one on top, and you have to hold them
But-
a certain way so it won't stick you.
Yeah, but I just remember catching them like one after the other after the other.
I don't
after
know
the
how
other.
many you guys caught, but we caught, and every one of you, the kids, his and all of ours, wanted us to keep every fish, and they was going to fry them, and eat them and everything else. And we caught so many that finally I would take them off the hook, and then I'd slide them back behind me, and FA would then just slide them off the other side of the dock, and they'd go right back in the water again, because we wasn't going to clean that many of
Yeah.
them little bullheads, because there wasn't that much meat on them
No.
anyway. But we did clean some, and we did eat some.
Well,
And that was a trip that we took up there, and that was
those are my first memories
that's
of
the
fishing.
first, yeah,
Fishing with
and,
Dad.
and every one of the kids fished, and every one of them caught fish.
Yeah.
His and ours.
That's good.